Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dives. Today we are taking a trip to Italy to uncover the secrets of the Caffè Marocchino.
Ah, the Marocchino.
It's a drink that I'll admit I haven't had too much experience with.
Really?
Yeah, not nearly as much as, say, a cappuccino or a latte.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm excited to learn more about it from you today, and hopefully I can figure out how to make one myself at home by the end of our deep dive.
Well, I think you will be surprised at how simple it is to make.
Oh, that's good to hear, because some of those Italian coffee drinks can get pretty
You
complicated.
can be a little intimidating, right?
Yeah,
With all the different layers and techniques.
exactly. So where do we even begin with the Caffè Marocchino? What makes it so special?
Well, the core of any good Marocchino is, of course, a shot of espresso.
Okay, that's a good starting point.
You'll want about 25 milliliters, or just under an ounce for those who aren't using the metric system.
Right. We have a standard single shot.
Yep. And a medium to dark roast is typically used for its bold flavor.
And this is where that beautiful crema comes in, right?
Absolutely. That reddish-brown layer on top of a freshly pulled shot.
Yeah, it's so visually appealing.
It really is. And it's not just for looks either.
Oh, right. I remember you talking about this before.
The crema is packed with aromatic oils and indicates a well-extracted shot.
Which is crucial for a balanced Maraschino.
Exactly. You want those complex flavors to shine through even with the chocolate and milk.
Makes sense. So we've got our espresso base. What comes next?
This is where the Maraschino gets its signature touch, chocolate.
Ah, the chocolate element. I was wondering when we'd get to that.
Traditionally, a piece of dark chocolate is used, but you can also use about an ounce of cocoa powder.
Okay, so either way, we're adding some sweetness and richness to complement the espresso.
Exactly. It creates this beautiful depth of flavor that plays so well with the bitterness of the espresso.
Is that a common theme in Italian coffee drinks? This idea of balancing those contrasting flavors?
Absolutely. Italians have a real knack for finding that perfect harmony between sweetness and bitterness.
You see it in their desserts too, like the classic tiramisu.
Exactly. And the Maraschino is another great example of that balance.
So it's not just about the ingredients themselves, but how they interact with each other.
Precisely. And that brings us to the milk.
Ah, the milk. This is the part I always struggle with.
Well, for the Maraschino, you only need about an ounce of frothed milk.
Oh, so not too much.
Nope. Whole milk is traditional, but you can definitely experiment with dairy-free alternatives like oat or almond milk.
So many options.
Mhm.
But the key here is getting that light and airy texture right.
Yes, think more of a delicate cloud than stiff peaks.
I always seem to end up with either giant bubbles or super dense foam.
One trick I've learned is to tap the milk pitcher lightly on the counter after frothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it helps release those large air bubbles and creates a smoother, more velvety microfoam.
Interesting. I'll have to try that. So we have our perfectly frothed milk, our rich espresso with its tempting crema, and our chocolate element. How do we bring it all together?
The presentation is almost as crucial as the taste itself, you know?
I was just thinking that. I've seen those pictures of Maracchinos with the beautiful layers.
Right. You want to use a small, clear glass pre-warmed with hot water.
So you can see those layers.
And for an extra special touch.
Wait, let me guess. A dusting of cocoa powder on the inside of the glass.
You got it. It's like a hidden layer of chocolate that unfolds with every sip.
That's so clever. So first we pour the espresso into the glass, let it mingle with that cocoa powder, then gently layer the frothed milk on top.
Precisely. And for the finishing touch,
More cocoa powder on top.
you know it. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can add a sprinkle of cinnamon or some grated chocolate.
Ooh, cinnamon sounds delicious. So the Maraschino is all about layering flavors and textures, creating this visual masterpiece, and of course, indulging in that amazing blend of espresso chocolate and milk.
And remember, this deep dive is just the beginning. Don't be afraid to play around with different chocolates, milks, even flavor infusions.
I already have so many ideas swirling around. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we take a step back and talk about the history and cultural significance of this drink?
That's a great idea. The Maraschino has a fascinating story to tell, one that goes beyond the ingredients and technique.
I'm all ears. But before we jump into that, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Have you ever tried a Caffè Marocchino? What are your favorite variations?
Let us know.
Share your thoughts and experiences with us on social media using the hashtag #TheDeepDive.
And for more delicious deep dives and recipes, don't forget to visit eateveryslice.com.
We'll be right back after a quick break to continue our exploration of the Caffè Marocchino.
Can't wait. So you were curious about the history of the Caffè Marocchino.
Yeah, I'm really interested to learn more about where it all began.
Well, it's believed to have originated in the Piedmont region of Italy
Piedmont, okay.
back in the 1980s.
So it's a relatively recent addition to the Italian coffee scene,
That's right, at least compared to some of the other classics.
like the cappuccino, which has been around for centuries, I believe.
Yes, something like that.
But I'm curious about the name Marocchino. What does that even mean?
It's a pretty intriguing name, isn't it?
It is. It doesn't sound particularly Italian to me.
Well, it actually translates to Moroccan.
Moroccan.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there are a couple of theories about how the drink got this name.
Oh, really? Lay it on me. I love a good origin story.
Well, one theory suggests that the layered appearance of the drink,
With the dark espresso on the bottom and the lighter milk foam on top.
exactly, that it reminded people of the colors of a type of Moroccan leather.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's a fun theory.
What's the other theory?
Some believe that the name comes from a type of brown sugar that was used in the drink.
A brown sugar called Marocchino.
Yep. Apparently it had a slightly different flavor profile than regular brown sugar.
So the drink could be named after its color? Or a key ingredient? That's fascinating.
I know, right? It's a bit of a mystery.
It adds to the allure of the Marocchino, for sure.
Exactly. It's a drink with a story to tell, even if we're not entirely sure how that story goes.
I love that. Speaking of stories,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about your personal experiences with the Marocchino. Have you ever had one that really stood out to you? Or maybe a memorable moment connected to this drink?
Let me think.
Like a specific cafe or a special occasion where you had an amazing Marocchino.
Actually, you know what? I do have a memory that comes to mind.
Ooh, tell me more.
I remember having my first Marocchino in this tiny little cafe in Florence.
Ah, Florence, how romantic.
It was pouring rain outside.
Setting the mood.
And I ducked into this cafe to escape the downpour.
I can picture it now.
And the warmth of the drink, the aroma of the espresso and chocolate, and the cozy atmosphere of the cafe, it just made it feel extra special.
It's funny how certain flavors and experiences can transport us back to a specific time and place, isn't it?
It really is. Food and drinks have such a powerful way of evoking memories.
That's why we love exploring them so much on the deep dive.
Absolutely. It's all about those sensory experiences and the stories they tell.
So we've talked about the history, the name, even some personal anecdotes. But for those out there who are eager to master the art of the Marocchino,
Yes, for those aspiring at-home baristas.
are there any specific tips or variations you'd recommend they explore?
Absolutely. Remember when we were talking about the chocolate element?
Oh, yeah, that's a key part of the Marocchino's unique flavor.
Don't be afraid to experiment with different types of chocolate.
You mean like milk chocolate versus dark chocolate?
Exactly. Milk chocolate will give you a sweeter, more mellow flavor profile,
Okay.
while dark chocolate, especially one with a higher cacao percentage, will offer a more intense, slightly bitter taste.
Oh, I bet a really good quality dark chocolate with a hint of sea salt would be incredible.
Ooh, yes, that would be divine.
It would add another layer of complexity to the drink.
And as we mentioned before, you can also play around with the type of milk you use.
So many possibilities. I remember you saying something about infusing the milk with flavor before frothing.
Ah, yes. That's a game changer.
I was really intrigued by that. Have you tried it yourself?
Oh, absolutely. It adds a whole new dimension of aroma and complexity to the Marocchino.
Okay, I'm sold. What kind of flavors do you recommend?
A subtle infusion of vanilla bean or cinnamon sticks works wonders.
Ooh, vanilla and cinnamon. I can just imagine how amazing those flavors would be with the espresso and chocolate.
It's like taking the Marocchino to the next level of customization.
It's like creating your own signature version.
Precisely. It's all about those personal touches that make the drink your own.
And the best part is it's still incredibly simple to make.
Exactly. No fancy equipment or complicated techniques required.
I love that about the Marocchino. It feels like a special treat, but it's totally achievable for us home baristas.
That's the beauty of Italian coffee culture. It's about quality ingredients and simple techniques.
Letting the flavors speak for themselves.
Exactly. It's not about being fussy or pretentious. It's about celebrating those simple pleasures.
Well said. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground today, from the origins of the Marocchino to tips for making it truly exceptional. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
Just one final thought. Don't be afraid to experiment and make the Marocchino your own.
That's a great piece of advice.
Play with different flavors, try new techniques, and most importantly, enjoy the process.
I love that we've had so much fun diving deep into the world of the Caffè Marocchino today.
It's been a delicious journey.
It really has. It's a drink that truly captures the essence of Italian coffee culture. A perfect blend of history, artistry, and pure indulgence.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with this special drink.
So if you've tried a Caffè Marocchino, or if you're inspired to give it a try after listening to our deep dive,
Definitely let us know.
share your creations and experiences with us on social media using the hashtag the deep dive.
And for more delicious explorations and recipes.
Be sure to visit us at eateveryslice.com.
We'll see you there.
You know, it's funny, as we've been talking about the Caffè Marocchino,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about how it represents this idea of taking something simple, like just a few ingredients, and elevating it into something truly special.
It really is a testament to the art of Italian coffee making, isn't it?
It's not just about throwing things together.
Right.
It's about the craftsmanship, the attention to detail
Those little touches.
that make it a truly memorable experience.
I think that speaks to a larger aspect of Italian culinary culture as a whole.
You think so?
Absolutely. Whether it's pasta or pizza or even something as simple as a coffee drink.
They have this deep respect for tradition.
And a real passion for quality.
It shines through in everything they do.
It's like they understand that even the simplest things in life can be extraordinary.
And you put your heart into it.
Exactly. And that's a lesson we can all apply to our own lives.
I love that takeaway. It's so true. It's a reminder that we can find joy and inspiration in the everyday.
Whether it's savoring a perfectly crafted Caffè Marocchino.
Or just taking the time to appreciate the little things that make life special.
Well said. I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
Me too. We've explored so much today.
The history, the techniques, the variations.
Even the philosophy behind the Caffè Marocchino.
It's been a delicious journey.
It really has. And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired.
To try their hand at making a Marocchino.
Yeah, experiment with different flavors.
Maybe even create their own signature twist on this Italian classic.
And we would love to see what you come up with.
Absolutely. Share your creations with us on social media.
Using the hashtag the deep dive.
And don't forget to visit eateveryslice.com for more delicious deep dives and recipes.
Until next time, happy sipping, everyone.